she was fighting against the filth in hip hop. She warned that if those images and negative things would justify police murdering black youth, this is what I've had a straight up conversation with her. She's telling me that they're going to genocide black people because of this music. It's justifying us being eliminated and replaced by other people. You look at how they're letting all these people in. Folks aren't going to tell you they'd rather have these illegals than us here twerking, doing all this stupid, nasty stuff. This is what she feared. She was fighting against black genocide in her own way. She got set up by Time Warner. What she wanted to do was create a record label where black youth didn't have to cuss or be on drugs. She basically wanted a new Motown. I had this conversation with her. We don't have to have our young people look dirty. They can be clean. They can get paid, not get ripped off. They don't have to do sexual stuff. And they got some youngsters and made it seem as if she was trying to get them to violate their contract. Some of these rappers betrayed her, testified against her, and they had $100 million lawsuit against C. Dolores Tucker. These bastards at Time Warner. Huh? And the music got really trashy. She died early 2000s. Let me check. I know she was 67. If she died 2004, no, she didn't die 2004. She may have died 2006. Let me check. I don't think it's 2006. Maybe it's 2005. Give me 1 second. I'm going to look her up. It's amazing when we have these discussions, how you have to remember all this stuff. Yeah, she died 2005. Right, because she couldn't have died 2004. But she's a phenomenal person. She always spoke up for black people. She was a strong black woman that loved black people, black men, black children, black women, not the kind that only like black women and don't like black children or black men. She wasn't like that. From the moment that I met her until she, was sick, I wasn't in touch with her. Anything you asked her for, she'd do for you. If there was something, she'd call up and say, Q, Malcolm X's Betty Shabazz is coming here. I want you to escort her. Mrs. King is coming. I want you to meet Rosa Parks. I want you to do this. Do you know any other young men that want to do something on Capitol Hill? Do you know anyone looking for a job? Tell them to call me. She's so different from these fake ass black leaders. When I think about her, I almost cry. I just don't like any of these people now. Because I've seen people who were real black women. And she didn't put up with any crap where women get messed over. If they were mistreating black women anywhere in the country, messing over black girls and black kids, she'd be in your ass. Really. I know what it's like. I've been in her office. She's in the Watergate. I feel like talking to the president. And so it's midnight. He'll take the call. And call him. Wake up. She was a baller. When that Kimber Smith was in jail, the girl that was used by her pusher boyfriend, she threatened Bill Clinton. Because my friend Dorothy Gaines had been in jail 6.5 years for a crime she didn't commit. I went begging people all over DC, high name, important black people, everybody basically slammed their door in my face. Not Mrs. Tucker. When Mrs. Tucker found out a black grandmother was in jail for a crime she didn't commit, she didn't charge me $1. She says, okay, I'm glad you gave this to me. She didn't tell me what she's going to do, but she went in and told Clinton, I need 2 pardons. I need 2 commutations. I'm angry. I'll take 2. Give me Kimber. Give me Dorothy.
And they literally knew that. It was crazy about the government, and I'm laughing. And it speaks about C. Dolores Tucker's courage, is that they knew that Kimba didn't know anything about her drug dealer boyfriend, and Dorothy Gaines was completely innocent.
Yep, the judge that convicted her under the guidelines that they were forced to with those drug laws that bastard slut Joe Biden created in the law when he's covering up for his crack smoking Eminem's penis covered son. Yes, I said it just like that. Nasty Hunter Biden. I mean, you cover for your son. He's got the whole government covering for his piece of shit son. And they've sent millions of our people to jail. So Miss Tucker was fighting against mass incarceration back in 1999. I know because I work with her.
Wow.
Imagine. And I'm serious, friendly, helpful. She didn't work with you. Didn't felt like you would talk. You know, a lot of black women talk to you like you're 5 years old. I think I told you about someone that's talking to me like I'm five, and I'm the one with the PhD. They trying to get one. I'm trying to figure out what that's about. And anyway, I'm not going to fight with them. Just fine. Always spoke to you like you were a man. Always encouraged you. I was trying to go to South Africa for the World Conference Against Racism. Needed money. Mrs. Tucker said, just send me a letter. And she had a idiot lady who was working for her. I must say her name. Her name is Brooks. Oh, no, Battle, Dr. Battle. Dr. Battle, you're full of shit. I said it. Dr. Battle was cock blocking. But because I knew where Miss Tucker lived, I simply took my letter up to her house, to the apartment building. She lived in the Rittenhouse, and left it in her mailbox. And she gave me like $1,000. No questions asked. All she says is, I know you'll represent our people.
Mm.
You need to go to this. This is historic. I'm happy to give it to you. I wish I could give you more, but I'm gonna give you a grand. Right, right. Isn't that cool? And she always defended black people, and she always had on nice clothes. She did have on a turban. She always was dressed to the nines. Always, always, always. I'm looking. I met Daisy Bates, who's on the far right.
Hmm.
I met her through Miss Tucker. She was the woman who was the head of the NAACP in Arkansas and worked with the Little Rock Nine, house bomb multiple times. An incredible lady. She had her own newspaper. Her mother was raped by white men. She's a fighter. Even when I saw her when she was incapacitated, she still looked good, had nice clothes on, was kind. Um, this is who we are. This is who we've been. Fannie Lou Hamer, I did not get to know her, but I knew Lawrence Guillot from SNCC. My third cousin, what's her name? Bernice Johnson Reagan. If you ever hear the acapella singing on a lot of documentaries, that's a
Hmm.
that's my cousin. Whether they claim it or not, that the niggas are all from Augusta, Georgia, Richmond County. They're from the Britton family. I'm just saying, and but some of them, are into women. I don't know what that's about. Um, so I did see they're like the second or third. They're a little bit out there, but Fannie Lou Hamer was against abortion and eugenics. She was for helping black women out. And she was a woman. I mean, although she came from a humble background, she was. without her consent, sterilized. And right below her, Mahalia Jackson was also sterilized.
Talk to me about her. I know you mentioned to me about her and how she used to basically bust Elvis up.
It's not so much that Mahalia bust Elvis out. Mahalia Jackson, first and foremost, was a good human being, a great human being, a great singer. Took black she took black music all over the world. And on top of that, she was a committed person that gave all kinds of money to civil rights causes. She didn't have any children of her own, but to this day, I think there's some scholarship fund, always taking care of people, always fighting against injustice, always. And but she was friends to Elvis Presley. The point I was making, when Elvis Presley died in August of 1977, Elvis had $4 million. Mahalia Jackson, who did not sing rock music and did not perform in Las Vegas if they served alcohol. So Mahalia Jackson turned down tens of millions of dollars based on her belief in God. If you served alcohol and there's smoking, I'm not going. Okay. I don't care. You can't pay me. I believe in God. I hate liquor. I won't do it. And I want to say that for all the little fake people in gospel now who don't live anything, that are getting their butts blown out and doing all this other stuff. You're not really singing gospel. You're singing church pop, popular music for church people. You're not singing God's music. To sing God's music, you have to live a godly lifestyle. It goes together. It's not separate. Mahalia Jackson died with at least $6 million, and she died in 71 or so. I think she died 72. She died 72. So Mahalia Jackson died 5 years earlier than Elvis Presley. I'm certain didn't sell anywhere near as many records as Elvis Presley, but have more money than him. She did a lot better. Elvis had way. I mean, Elvis had lots of. Elvis wasted money. Mahalia Jackson was a monster, and to this day, when Jesse Jackson and them, their Push building, which was ripped off from Mahalia Jackson, I won't get into that. But even People United to Save Humanity, if they're really doing that, their building was a building that Mahalia Jackson had, where she wanted to do something to help young black people. And she had congestive heart failure. She died, but she left trying to do something for other people. And Mahalia, of course, supported Martin Luther King. She supported a lot, always trying to do something to help other people. Was a very good sister. And so it's proof that you can be big and be cool. Back in the day, black women that were big were kind. Now they're big and they're mean. Remember, we used to think of fat people as jolly. Not anymore. These ratchet broads have made, now fat people, some of the meanest people out there, some of the most insistent. Mahalia was one of those nice big old girls. You could love her because you could look past the girth and just see how much she loved God, and she loved people, and she loved children. And right next to Mahalia Jackson, the great Ida B. Wells, who fought against lynching, and is one of the mothers of the Black freedom movement. All in her soul, her and Fannie Lou Hamer, uncompromised black women. And by the way, they loved their brothers. They weren't feminist. Fannie Lou Hamer came to Congress to fight with feminists. Ida B. Wells would trash white women for letting black men get lynched for their false accusations. She's an awesome woman, one of the founders of the Niagara movement and all of that. She has all these books, The Red Record, Mob Rule in New Orleans. She's one of the finest journalists. And she was classy, nice looking, nice chocolate lady, good person. She cared about people. She stood up when they had the genocide of blacks in Arkansas, in Helena, Arkansas, to get about 30 black men off of death row. She's not like the women of today. Well, they must have done something. It's interesting that they didn't even check out Brick Girl to get behind her. You know,
She got 35,000 racks off these jokers.
43,000.
Wow. Wow.
And Ida B. Wells stood up against the terror against black people, and she was an advocate for black women. You can too be a woman, be for women's empowerment, and also be for black men too. It's a goddamn lie that you can only advocate for women. I think that's insane that, you get a black woman elected and she only talks about women.
Dr.
A white
Short,
woman wouldn't be caught dead doing that.
Dr. Short, one of the brothers in the chat said the title of the show should have been The Anti-Black Girl Tragic.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying we have these women that are incredible. I left out my auntie, Mother Kalia Clark. Mother Kalia Clark, she was one of the people that was she was holding up Medgar Evers when they were getting death threats every day. They had a list of all the black people that were leaders in Mississippi that they were going to kill. They had 10 people, and they killed them one at a time in order. In case you didn't know that. And she was still supporting him. She was assistant to Medgar Evers. In fact, in one of our conversations, she was talking about the letter that Medgar Evers received where the NAACP refused to give bodyguard funds of support. The NAACP basically signed Medgar Evers' death warrant. The National Association of Coon People.
What Dr. Short just said is a known fact. It's on record. They refused.
And not only that, before Medgar Evers was killed, Robert Williams of North Carolina, if I'm correct, of Henderson, North Carolina, got kicked out of the NAACP for saying that black people had the right to defend themselves. You're in a place where people are driving, doing a lot of folks. Y'all not Southerners. Y'all don't know what it means. I'm not quite old enough, but I'm close enough to it. The Nazis used to rally at the White House when I was a baby. My dad would take me by to see it. And people would be talking about kill all the black people right there on the streets of DC, just really. And I lived in Virginia. They were out. The Nazis were out. Kill niggers with signs in the streets. People come by and honk and cheer them on. A lot of people who didn't live back then, and it's not that long, I'm not that old, have no idea how crazy these people are, and they still are. These people go out and do a mass killing now and then. There are millions of them ready to go out and slaughter us. Millions. That boy in Jacksonville is one of millions. And they got the guns and the bullets and stuff saved up to do it. And they got a lot of coons and black girl tragic politicians that are talking about gun buybacks. They never do that shit in white communities. They wouldn't dare. And what I'm trying to say to you is that if you're in the South, these people would go around on the weekends and attack black people for kicks. Where I lived in Virginia, initially, they would come looking for someone black to fight, just to beat up on someone black. Yeah,